Google. Hey there, what do you say there, world? Welcome to the Races Recap. We're coming to the end of another amazing season, but we have the double finale episode coming up. But we do have to talk about the saddest episode of the year.
Yeah. Yep.
True.
The saddest episode of the year because one of the all-time favorite teams of Amazing Race, Team Fun, spoiler, got eliminated. Floyd,
Yep. Hi.
Floyd, how do you stay so damn positive?
I mean, I don't know. Are you talking about this or just life in general?
In general, man.
I don't know. That's just how I am. It's how I was raised. Life, when one bad thing happens, I still have other things to look forward to in life. So that's kind of like how I orient myself.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Well, Team Fun is here. This is Amazing Race, season 31. What episode? 10. Episode 10 recap. I am Justin from the Green Team, season 27. I brought my favorite team from season 27 with me, my man James Earl. How you doing, James?
Hey there, doing well.
And obviously, I got to bring in a little extreme. What's going on, Jen?
Hey, Becca.
My audio's not working.
Yes, it is.
We can see you.
Can you hear us?
I don't think so. It's great. So Becca, Team Fun is here.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
That's okay. She'll get it. I mean, come on. She's an outdoors girl. Normally, she's climbing mountains. I mean,
Exactly.
just with the people that are on this show right now, climbing mountains, skiing down mountains, saving lives. Like, I feel like I shouldn't be here.
We can hear you, Becca. We can. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can. Talk.
You may need to
bet
change
you
your
can hear us.
browser. How do you type in here?
I didn't know you could do that.
Ooh, I got it. I got the chat.
Oh, there's a little
Yes,
chat in the upper
we
left.
can hear you.
I didn't know we had a chat like that. That's so cool. All right, we are off the rails here, but that's okay because Team Fun's in the house.
We'll figure it out,
Fun.
All right. So here we are, another episode in the books, but we have to go over it. And unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about the people who did some things they shouldn't have done.
Yep.
But
We're
here we
ready.
go. Let's get it started. The first question, this leg started like every leg of the Amazing Race. Should start teams booking their own flights. Was there one or two flights for this one?
So there were 3 flights, I think.
Oh,
for
wow.
This one. Well, and here's the thing. This was actually the most stressful flight experience we had of any leg ever. But, they conveniently cut it out because,
Right.
so the Croatia airport, for one thing, every single flight got delayed and we had a connection through, I forgot where it was. It might have been Germany, but we had a connection through some other country. And because of our delayed flight, we missed that connection.
Oh.
And so what ended up happening is we were trying to call the plane to wait for us. Plane lands and I think it was Czech Republic. I think that's where we were. And we start sprinting through the airport, and then they told us our flight, there's this one scene of Becca, talking to this bus driver, being like, go now. But he's like, no, I'm not going to go. We have to wait for other passengers. But then what ended up happening was that our connecting flight was delayed another 3 hours.
Oh.
So we were like, yeah, we can still be in it, but we had no idea, especially after Croatia, that leg being the first time where your flight actually mattered, because as soon as you
How many teams were on that flight with you?
It was just us.
Oh,
just
wow.
us. So I think I don't remember the breakdown. There were 2 teams, us, and then another 2 teams.
Yep.
And eventually we end up getting to when we land in the Netherlands, it takes us 2 hours to get to this train station where we spend the night. And our crew told us to take this specific train, but the train workers union had just gone on strike. So the specific train we had to take wasn't running. So then we ended up having to find a taxi. Gosh. It was the most stressful thing in the world. And then we just get there, we're in third, and the bikes are locked until we didn't know the bikes were going to be locked.
For all the people at home, I'd like to remind you, everything you just heard was about 3 seconds of the start of the episode, and then you saw everything else.
But there was there was some real that already started us in such a little bit of a high strung level, and then we just had to go sleep on the floor of this train station getting ready to tandem bike in the morning. It was just like it was actually a really unique experience.
I can't believe they didn't show that. I mean, the stress of being on a flight by yourself.
Yeah,
never mind anything else. Just a flight by yourself.
Yeah.
We did it once, and we knew we had a half-hour lead, and we were still stressed out because you never know. And you guys were delayed. Wow.
No, there were some raw emotions that came out that no one's gonna see, but it was it was crazy. Can't believe they didn't show it.
They made it seem like the first 3 teams were just on that first flight, and then the other
it was a whole thing. We all went 3 different directions to converge on the Netherlands because of these delays, and it was stressful.
Oh, man, that's crazy. Well, airport drama is what everybody loves to see.
Yes.
And they cut it out.
Yeah, but it happened, if that makes it any better. It happened.
It still happens.
Airport drama still happens. It's just not shown.
Yeah.
All right. So we're heading to the Netherlands, which is one of Diana and I's favorite places that we got to visit. One of the most beautiful countries. It is so green. Everybody rides bicycles. They got these awesome bike lanes that are like sectioned off. They got like walkways for animals to walk over the highways. Like they think of everything in this country. How did you guys like the Netherlands as a country?
We thought it was beautiful. Trying to remember everything I was thinking about. No, it was really cool. It was the people were nice, but they seemed kind of stern compared to other places in the world.
They really are. I thought the same thing when we were there.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not complaining. Like, live your life, but these people are kind of mean.
They don't fit Team Fun. They seem very blunt and straightforward, is how I look.
Exactly. So they're not mean. They're just like get to the point.
All right, Becca. So we just talked about the airport drama that they didn't air, the delays, the craziness that I think would have been the best parts of the episode that they cut out, and then you guys get to the Netherlands. Becca, how you feeling? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So glad that you're finally joining us. We did have Floyd on during your season, which was awesome, and I'm so you guys are definitely the most requested guests for this season. So I really appreciate you guys joining us, especially considering you guys do your own recap, which I'm sure everybody already seen. And if you're not, make sure you check out Team Fun's YouTube page. I'm sure there's a link to it on funstoppables.com where you can get your pins and stuff. We'll do all that pimping later.
He knows what's up.
We'll do all that pimping later. All right. Team Fun was talking about being eliminated last time on leg 10, and Amazing Race has this thing where they love to do called foreshadowing, and as soon as they talked about it, I tweeted, I'm like, uh-oh, this looks like the leg. Team Fun is getting eliminated again. How did you guys feel in the beginning of the leg? I know that you guys at the end of the leg was a little different, but in the beginning of the leg, how are you guys feeling at this point?
It's like that time in the race where things feel pretty stressful, I think. And I remember vividly, did you talk about like how we like stayed overnight there, Floyd?
Yeah. Kind of. Just talk about it. We'll see what happens.
Well, like we had that super stressful like airport thing, and then we're like all confused. Did you talk about the train?
Yeah, the strike, like the workers on strike.
So there's all this like built up like confusion and like what's going on, and I think that just started like once you kind of go down a road of like feeling anxious, it's really hard to pop out of it, I think. And so like that next morning, we like checked in and we're like, okay, this is like, we know there's bikes involved. We know this is leg 10. We know like things are getting real. Like, how do we want to be today? Like, what do we want to help each other with? And so I think we were coming in like a bit on edge, and
it showed a little bit.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
It showed a little bit.
Yeah.
It's okay.
On that whole overnight thing in the train, you didn't see a single other team that whole time, or did you? Yeah, so that's a really long time to go without.
We didn't see him until we got to the train station to sleep. Yeah,
still, that's a long time to go.
Yeah,
sure was.
I was crying in the airport. For real, I was crying. I thought we were, because we didn't know another team had been delayed like 9 hours or whatever. So
and you don't know when they're going to ask you to start racing.
Right.
You don't know if when you hit the ground in the Netherlands you start racing. So,
and if we had thought about it, they're not going to have us bike at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But actually, you don't know that because the streets could be quieter.
I don't know.
I biked at night in India, so that's scary.
Oh yeah, that's way worse. Yeah,
especially when you're a female, as we saw.
I will say that people at home don't realize how stressful it is when you're by yourself. Like when it's just you and your teammate, that is some of the worst times at all in the race. Because even if you're like with the team that's killing it, so I'm there with Justin and Diana. At least I see them, and maybe they'll get slipped up, and I can jump ahead of them. Like that's so much better than even just being by yourself for extended amounts of time.
Yeah.
Being in the back of the pack, but knowing you have another team. Like I'd rather that than be in the middle and totally alone.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, there was one leg we ran the whole leg alone, and we knew we had the best flight, but we were still nervous that somehow teams passed us. I mean, we finished the leg before teams even landed, but we felt like there was a chance that somehow all these teams got ahead of us. Diana was pounding me, and we were just running through this leg with so much intensity. And you just can't be alone on the race. I get it. It's a tough feeling.
I don't know. I think it could go either way, to be honest, because like when you're with another team, it just feels so intense. Like it's just you and them, and like it makes it feel like time is compressed, even though if you were alone, you don't have that other energy of like stress to bounce off. And it depends on the energy of the other team, I guess.
So you prefer to race alone?
Would
you prefer to race alone or with other teams? So it sounds like you prefer to be racing by yourselves and
I
not even see.
But yeah, I think there was definitely moments where I would have felt more calm had there not been teams like so close by.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how hard it was to ride a tandem bike. Anybody on the show ever ride a tandem bike before this?
Nope. This is my first time.
Maybe when I was a child.
Jen, like, come on.
Haven't.
You like mountain biking down hills.
I've never ridden a tandem bike. I know. I gotta add it to the list.
Look at you and your husband are these like rugged outdoorsy.
Yeah.
I guess tandem bikes. They need a tandem mountain bike. Maybe you guys would be on.
They do have tandem mountain bikes. People race them, and I think it's
that seems so dangerous.
In the world.
Yeah, it does.
That's
how you die.
Yeah, that's like my limit. I also don't like not being in control. You gotta like hand over some control on the tandem bike.
I literally, I'm looking at it. I'm like, how come everybody's having such a hard time? How long did it take you two to get the rhythm of a tandem bike?
I think we got it actually fairly quickly, which I was so happy about because I'll be honest, I was low key thinking about that tandem bike all airport, all night. I was like, okay, get ready. But then, Becca was like really calm. She's really patient with that. She took the lead because she's a far better bicyclist than I am. But like, I think like as soon as we got our bike out of that bike garage area, it took us like maybe a couple seconds, and then we got on. Becca started pedaling. You'll see it took me a second to start pedaling. I was like, oh, the pedals are moving too fast for me. But then eventually we like communicated and said, okay, like my feet are off, and like we started getting a rhythm down. So I think we got it relatively quickly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We had great teamwork with it because, like I'd be pedaling, and if one of us missed the pedals, then it keeps going, and you have to stop and then get back on. So we were very like, okay, pedals off, go, and now push. Okay, slow, recover.
Yeah.
Full communication mode. Yeah.
Did you guys like turn and look at the producers for a second when you saw that there was another bike task on leg 10? I felt it was just like a little salty, like, how are they going to put another bike task on leg 10 with Team Fun here?
I mean, I feel like every time there's bicycle anything, the producers are looking directly at me, just being like, "Okay, it's on the bike, Floyd. Like, what do you think?" So,
I didn't know if you looked at it as a chance, like, to get your redemption, like a lot of teams have done this season.
Yeah, no, we totally looked at it like that. I did, yeah.
Cool. So biking through the Netherlands, I think that is very fitting because it's one of the bikingest places on Earth. So we get to the detour. It's high or dry. Diana and I would have picked dry because from the sounds of it, it didn't sound like you guys knew it was a fake cow. Did you guys get the feeling that it was going to be a real cow or a fake cow, or did you know from reading the clue?
I thought it was going to be real for sure.
Yeah,
heavy. There's gonna be some really intense pulley system.
Yeah.
So I was surprised so many people picked cow because I was like, I had to have something on there that said that wasn't a real cow because everybody seemed to go and pick the live animal, and everybody on I'm sure on our races recap kind of avoids animals. Jen, no, James.
I would have avoided.
Agreed.
I would have avoided it.
Yeah. If we thought it was a real cow, we would have for sure not chosen that one.
Basically, based on how I don't remember, but based on how the clue was written, it made it sound like you would get there and we had no idea we'd have to like load the cow on this tractor and bike all the way back to town with it. Kind of just thought you'd get there and then just start hauling it up a tower. So it didn't. At least to me, it didn't feel like a lot of like animal handling as much as it did just like a physical challenge.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I probably would have chosen that one.
Mm-hmm.
And
Can you put into context for us, like the distance? Because it seemed like it was further to do. Yeah, I know you guys had a little extra distance. It seemed further to do the like ditch jumping one versus the cow pulling one, but I could be confused.
Well, so the funny thing is that we actually came upon the ditch challenge before we found the other challenge, and we were so caught in the hype. We thought it was the roadblock. Like we were like, oh, there's the roadblock. We're at the wrong spot, and we hadn't even really read through the other challenge because we're like physical challenge. That was just kind of like a rule of thumb we were going with. If it's a physical challenge, usually that's, I don't know. In my experience watching the race, it's like if you can get through the physical, it's a better choice.
Faster.
Yeah, so we actually didn't know. We had no idea that was the other detour at all. Like we biked away, and then it was probably 8 minutes biking if you got, or 5 minutes biking to the next one from there. What do you think?
Okay.
I agree. They were actually both pretty, because they both were like from town. They were both pretty equidistant from town.
Okay.
Like one, you kind of had to like turn right off the road and go like into farmland a little bit. And the cow one was just like further down the main road. So they're similar.
Yeah.
And there's also, as Vern pointed out, a lot of bovine type tasks. I think, are they trying to be a little like Colin and Christy, get him, my ox is broken another moment? Do you think that's
Who knows?
the reason?
I think it's possible.
It's like producers are being real salty this season. I'm like,
I know.
Are they going to have like a building challenge for the Afghanimals to get eliminated on the next leg? Like, everybody's going to team. And it seems like, just like they did in one of their seasons, I think it was this first season with the Afghanimals, all the teams teamed up against them to keep them out of the final. It seems like that's about to happen again. No spoilers, but from the preview, it looks like everybody's like, hey, let's just get the Afghanimals out, or is it let's get Nick and Vic out? We'll find out.
Yeah, you'll see.
There's two thoughts of that.
I don't even know what happens.
Real quick, about this lead, can we talk about, I don't think we've mentioned, overall, this lead was a super physical lead. Like, that looked exhausting from start to finish. I just like to point that out. Just that biking forever.
You saw it. You felt it. That is the
Well, we were talking to Victor, and his legs actually cramped up, and there was a point where like he had to stop, and like some of the race medics gave him some like, I don't know what they gave him, but they gave him something because his like legs were cramping up really badly. Yeah,
they learned from you.
Yeah,
he should have thanked you.
Yeah, for real. They're like, oh, we've experienced this before.
So we're looking at the challenge, and I'm like, all right, so this is a throwback challenge with the little egg task thrown in. It's the pole vaulting. Vic was a pole vaulter, and it still looked kind of hard. To me, it's like, okay, you just grab the pole really high, and you go across. Seemed pretty simple. Then I watched a bunch of behind-the-scenes videos of producers trying it, and it seems very, very difficult. How hard was this little ditch pole? This just jumping over a little ditch.
Well, they talked about it on Rob Has a Podcast about like how lenient they were, because I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be kind of hard. Like we're going to have to get across this right and then back again. And then Floyd, I see Floyd over there. And I'm like, Floyd, you did it already? Like, yeah, it said it counted. Well, slammed into the other side. So apparently it was like if you made it halfway, then that was all you had to do. But I was like, really wanted to do it right. So I was really taking note. They were kind of walking their hands up halfway across to keep their feet up. And also I wasn't, it's annoying if your shoes are wet. So I didn't want that.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the demonstration. I was just like, I'm just gonna do it. Like, let's just go. So that's literally what I did. I just like before I could even think about it or start to get nervous, I just jumped.
That's hilarious.
They were like, oh, it's counted. So
and they were extremely nice, especially on Nicole's 10th try.
So generous. People not even close to the
flop
land.
with her. She just kind of like flopped in the air over there.
Mud on her face. Oh, like
Poor girl.
No,
She was a trooper, though.
I don't know if, like, you know, I mean, Team Fun, I would watch that back and be upset. But, like, no, she should still be there, and we should be passing her and not be eliminated, damn it. Like, but I mean, judging tasks are just so hit or miss.
I think it just had to be over halfway, I think was the rule. If you like made it over halfway in the air, you were fine.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they were saying. I guess it was that difficult that they had to be very lenient, or there was a time constraint of some sort. Yeah. But it's cool to see throwbacks. I like seeing a bunch of throwbacks. There's been a couple this season. All right, so we're going to go through some technique moves here as we're watching this cow thing, and you see a head-to-head Corey and Tyler versus Colin and Christy again, just like they did on the actual head-to-head challenge. And Tyler and Corey, boom, boom, work it together, and then Colin just jumps up, throws it down. It looks like Christy couldn't even catch up with him. Technique, is it all about technique? Is Colin just that much of a beast? Tell me about the new Colin. What did you guys think of the new Colin?
I remember when we were sitting like in the orientation before the race, like that week they take, and like he and Chrissy walk into the room. I was like, Becca, oh frick, Becca, he's gonna be so intense. So like when we finally started to get to know him after like leg 2, it was like a complete shock. And to be honest with you, I was actually thinking like he's just trying to be strategic. Like he knows what we're all thinking about him. So he's going to try to come off like a certain way. But then like by leg 3, I was like, this dude's just like super nice and transformed. And I think he's an awesome person. Not that I didn't think he was awesome before. Like you don't deserve judgment for his past, but
he was super intense.
Yeah.
I'm the most intense person that's ever run the Amazing Race. That's literally what he said.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue that. Like, yeah, I mean, some people could say like Jonathan from Jonathan Victoria, but he was only intense to his wife, so I don't know if that counts. But Tyler and Corey did beat them by a little bit.
They started before him too, though.
They did.
A little bit, yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll give you that.
Okay.
I was impressed with both teams. But just like they did in the head-to-head, they barely beat them out, and they got there. I guess it didn't matter too much because he did it. But the task, a lot of people were upset at this task because at some point they actually used real cows to do this, and there was a bunch of stuff online like, I can't believe they're promoting it was real cows in the air scared. I'm like, oh my God, you guys don't get it. But anyway.
Yeah, I think that was like 200 years ago or something like that.
Right.
It's like an old myth.
Yeah. I think our taxi driver was actually like telling us that story the night that we got into Compton, and he was going on and on about this. We were both so lost. I turned to Floyd at one point. I was like, Floyd, do you know what he's talking about?
I remember that.
Floyd was like, oh, no idea. Because Floyd was being super agreeable, and I was like, you know what he's saying? And he didn't. But he was actually talking about this like crazy myth that we ended up doing a challenge of the next day.
Yeah, super foreshadowing.
Hilarious.
Oh, that's awesome. But that could have helped. You never know. Right. Now, one more thing before we continue. Colin and Christy, was everybody waiting for Colin to blow up? Or did you think by leg 3, everybody was like, no, this man has changed? Because people watching are still waiting for him to blow up.
No, Colin doesn't blow up. He actually, so I'm wearing a necklace that like his crew in Austin reps, which they wore on the race. It's like a love blaster, basically.
Love blaster?
What a name.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what Colin and Christy have going on. And they just were constantly, it was almost like they were naive to anything that wasn't on the vibration of love. Like they just were
didn't acknowledge it.
What'd you say?
I said didn't acknowledge it. It's like it's non-existent. Yeah.
Yeah. And they were playing that game. And honestly, to us, we're like, no, you cannot just help everyone all the time. You're too strong for that.
They feel no threat. They're not threatened by anybody.
No. Mm-hmm. Even though we told them we were intimidated by them when they first walked into that room, and they were like, you were intimidated by us? Like, we were looking around, like, thinking we were, like, the old mom and dad of the room. Like, okay. Right.
Yeah, okay. I'd like to point out, after all of this physical task, at the very end, he's, like, pole vaulting over, like, the banisters.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Over the fence.
It's no big deal. I'd just been biking 40 miles.
Yeah, for
NBD.
real.
Yeah, I'm super impressed with Colin, and it gives me like some inspiration if I ever get back on the show that people can actually look at me differently than they did last time, whereas some people just hated me.
Precious
You have
sweet
to
Justin.
change, though, Justin. You have to change.
See?
Ooh, dang.
You're right. I do. There's a lot of things. Listen, if
We've been hanging out long enough.
I don't take offense. Trust me. I was such a little.
I'm just teasing.
Listen, I was such a little asshole when I was younger that I if you saw the younger me to this me, you'd be like, wow, there was a huge change. Everything's great. But yeah, it happens. Listen, whatever. It's editing is cool. That was perfect. So we're looking through. It was. I mean, listen. I wish they would have cut out the one fight, but other than that, it's fine. All right, it's about time they put the damn U-turn after a detour, like it should be. I know you guys hated it, but
no, but I appreciate it. From like, I think that's the right way to do it. Sucked in our case, but I think that's the right way.
It's 100% the right way to do it. Like it should never be beforehand.
Yeah.
Why?
It was interesting too watching when you guys first saw Nick and Vic. I was like, oh, they don't know there's a U-turn yet.
Yep.
So like, did you guys at that point think that they were still just like doing detour stuff? And
yeah. And well, what's crazy, Becca, you could fill this in if I miss anything. While we were finishing the first detour, biking back into town with the cow, Tyler and Corey drove by us, and Corey opens the window and shouts, "U-turn ahead, U-turn ahead." So then we're like, what? Like, okay. So then we started having this idea that something could have happened, but we still didn't know really where everyone else was. But when we first saw Nick and Vic, we didn't think about a U-turn. We just thought they were lost.
Yeah.
Huh. So there were a couple teams talking about potential U-turn coming up. There's only been 3 U-turns once in the history of the race. Is there something that led some teams to talk about it? Because the
producers led teams to talk about it.
You think they would give them the heads up?
I think we just assumed they were gonna keep U-turn because that's just what all you can talk about is who's gonna U-turn who when. So that's what you're always still talking about.
I guess. I mean, listen, I appreciate it. I like that they're trying to throw in some new things to get some controversy or whatever, to get teams to kind of go against each other. But that's part of the race. You get people working against each other. Everybody can't be happy-go-lucky helping each other all the time. It can't be if you have 12 team funds, then I mean, it's just not going to work out.
That'd be a bad season.
You can't just be happy all the time.
That'd be bad TV, honestly.
So great technique by Colin. U-turn. So Colin and Christy, Tyler and Corey competing for first, and then I look, and there's them two could get to the U-turn board. They could choose to pass, pick somebody. You guys get to the U-turn board first. Are you U-turning somebody?
Boy.
Nobody wants to answer this one?
I say no. Floyd says.
I probably would, honestly. Yeah, I would.
Do you want to reveal who it would have been?
It always depends on who was behind you. It's so funny because after the whole U-turn vote in Switzerland, how we U-turned Colin and Christy. I mean, Beck and I have talked about this on our recaps and stuff, but like, she was very affected by that and very regretful from like a personal stance, whereas I didn't really like care as much, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I hate to say I would U-turn Colin and Christy again, but I would have. You know what I'm saying?
You're not going to beat them. Like if they make it to the final leg, you're not going to beat them. You have to get them out.
You never know, but yeah, you're right. So I don't know, because in my mind it's strategy. It's not personal. It's like, yeah, we still love you guys, but I'm going to keep U-turning you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But again, if we were in the front of the pack at that point, I don't know if I would do that. It's easier said than done.
It seems like Colin and Christy were the team to U-turn because they didn't take it personal. They were beasts on the race, and if you U-turned them, they weren't going to be mad at you. So it seemed like they were the perfect team to U-turn.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Everybody else is going to hold it against you. They're like, it's love.
That's so true.
I mean, it's a race for $1 million, people. What are you talking about? Love.
Yeah, it's really hard to decipher that, like the layers between like personal and race and game, and I really struggled with that this time.
I think that's part of being such good-hearted people. It's tough for you guys, which probably says something about me. Oh, damn.
You just broke Justin. I want you to know that, Becca. You just single-handedly broke him.
It looked like we had a bike race to the U-turn board. Nick and Vic and the Afghanimals biking to the U-turn board. And it's her birthday, and the Afghanimals U-turn Nick and Vic. Is that a dirty move, or is it just gameplay?
It's still survival for them.
We blame them for our U-turn.
Yeah.
Right.
There was some influence there, that's for sure. Because I think the Afghanimals didn't get there first, so they could technically have U-turn the Afghanimals even with them there, right?
Who? What?
The Afghanimals got there first before Nick and Vic.
Oh, so I didn't take notes for this. This is the first episode of the season. I didn't take notes. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm going off my.
Justin.
I know I'm a bad host. Normally, I watch it the first time and I don't look at it critically. I just watch it to enjoy it and love it as a fan. And I don't take any notes. I just tweet a little bit, and then I watch it in the morning today and take all the notes and get all critical about it. And I had a graduation party and I told it. There you go.
Yeah, Afghanimals definitely got there first. Like Nick and Vic can't beat them there because you can't U-turn Nick and Vic if they beat them there.
Right. Well, and it's interesting because what Nicole and Victor told me when we did their podcast was that Nicole and Victor actually originally missed the U-turn board and were like biking with the Afghanimals to the next place, thinking they were going the right way. And then the Afghanimals told them, "No, you've been U-turned. You have to turn around." And U-turn team fun.
Oh my God.
That's what Nicole and Victor said. That was an error. So I can't confirm or deny any of that, but that's what they said.
Wait, the Afghanimals said to U-turn us?
To Nicole and Victor. If you listen to the podcast, you'll hear
them.
Make sure you check out the podcast. I have to go listen. I definitely have to go listen. So no roads, no cars, lots of boating in this one little area. So this is this little canal type place that I love. This little area. I don't know. It seemed very frustrating to you guys, to a bunch of teams, maybe not just you guys. But was it as cool as it seemed, or was it more just an annoying task?
It's an annoying task. The silence means it's an annoying task. Also, can we just talk about how all the people on that canal, they were feisty.
Yeah,
Those people were feisty as hell.
We were being so obnoxious. We have like a trail of 3 boats, like bringing into everything, and then like trying to like cut down different canals because we didn't realize they were going to be visible from the main canal. So Floyd and I are like going down every canal we can see, which we probably ought to take like 30 minutes doing, or at least 15, 20 minutes. Like that. That's one of those times when you're like, dang, what if we just like stayed on the main track? But
to be fair though, it sounds like that's what all the producers told us. We did it pretty quickly. Like it sounds like every team also did the same thing. It wasn't just sticking that main canal. There were like always these side canal streets that you didn't know where these boats were, so you were trying to explore every single one.
Right.
And what about the Afghanimals apparently getting out of their boat and walking around? Like the clue very specifically said, like you cannot search on grounds outside of your boat.
Did it?
Ooh. Yeah, someone or what? Victor and Nicole said they like rolled up and their boat was abandoned and they were like running around.
Ooh,
penalty!
That's what I'm talking about. And if not a penalty, you see another team getting off and they got boats, flip their damn boats and make it. Get it? I am sinking your boats. If I was there with the Afghanimals and they left their boats cheating, I would have got on their boat, flipped it, and they would have had to dig it out like the Titanic.
Oh, dang, okay.
Out for Justin.
I know, for real.
Escalated so quickly.
You don't know how much stuff Diana stopped me.
I was gonna say, you can see now why he not voted Miss Congeniality of our season.
Diana kept me in check for most of our season. I will give her props on that. She kept me in check. I wanted to do a lot of shady stuff just because I thought it'd be fun to rile people up, and she was like, "Nah." She's like, "My students will be watching." I'm like, "Stop." Anyway.
I have to give Colin props on that Canal thing. Did you guys notice how he attached the boat by, instead of tying it like everyone else, he actually put it under the stiff rail off the back of the boat? So it was like so much more solid and probably easier to maneuver.
It's probably easier to maneuver, but to me, when I saw that, I almost thought it was like less secure. Like that made me a little nervous, personally.
Oh. But I think you have the buoyancy, right? So I think you pushed it down to get it hooked under, so you have the buoyancy that's keeping it locked.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
I like teams that use a little strategy when they're on the race and not just do things the simple normal way. So I appreciate him trying something new. I didn't notice it, to be honest, on the first time through. It's probably something I would have caught the second time. So thanks. I'm so glad to have you guys as part of the team. Catch my slacking ass. All right, so no, the Afghanimal's boat didn't get flipped over, but I think that would have been great TV. When I looked at this island, I looked at it and I saw the people acting crazy. I figured that this is like a really rich area, and these people were just like the rich, kind of snobby Netherlands people who are just like, eh. And then there's one-way streets. How do you have a one-way street in a canal? Did you guys have signs that said it was one way? Was there like stop signs and one-way signs? How were you supposed to know it was one way?
Just
you remember, Rebecca?
Flow of traffic. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like a loop or something.
Because they seem to be so upset. Like, oh, this is one way. Like, you guys should have known.
Well, because all traffic was moving in one direction. And, like, there was a lot of boats there. And we were a big, not very efficiently driving one.
Oh, so we crucial mistakes. Let's get to them. All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, you guys. You guys are veterans of the race. This is a very crucial leg for you, considering what happened last time. Becca, I'm sorry, but why didn't one of you check the eggs before? What was the thought process?
No thought process.
Just hurry up and go. You felt like you're behind. Like nothing.
Yeah, I think there was like feeling like the stress of the U-turn and then being like, we're not going home today, like getting all riled up, really getting like the adrenaline pumping and honestly feeling invincible. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but when I got across that moat with those eggs in my hand, I felt invincible. Like, we are not going home today. We can come back from anything. We don't even need to check the eggs.
So there was this intensity, and people saw it. Everybody saw this other side of Becca. You guys getting a lot of slack online for one little comment about throwing egg in the guy's face. I mean, come on.
It's like my brother, like my being the youngest of two older brothers coming out of me.
But I was just like, that wasn't that bad of a comment. She's upset. Like, you just saw like this.
No, and I got it. It was you were joking. Like, I got your joke.
I mean, kind of joking, but I also completely agree. I would have wanted to throw the egg in his face too, because let's be honest, that thing was barely cracked, totally edible. Like, that's a fine egg. Give me a break. Like, are you kidding me? I would have been a little frustrated. I mean, it was cracked, but
yeah, I mean, I might have grabbed the egg and been like, look, none of the egg's coming out. It's not cracked. Look at it. It works. It works.
Scrambled egg now.
Yeah, it was definitely the moment where like everything was kind of like sinking in of like, oh no, this was a really, really big mistake.
Because when he said it was cracked, you were like, yeah, it's okay.
Oh no, it's good. It worked good.
And he was like, no, it's not.
You can't say that. This is the time when we move forward. Yeah, it's really not easy moment.
So yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. There's a lot of
but well, I have something else to say about it. I mean,
oh god,
go for it. It's your platform. Go, girl.
All right, I'll take it. So yeah, a lot of people are kind of are saying and talking about, oh, like the shrimp traps was Floyd's fault and the eggs is like my fault. But like, I mean, all in all, we're a team, and like I for sure take blame for like the decision. In like, we were both part of the decision for Floyd to do the roadblock in Vietnam, and we were both part of the decision of of are we checking the eggs or not? And this is obviously something we've talked about like a lot since, and has just been something in the dynamic between Floyd and I, and like how we communicate and how we because like for sure I have a more dominant voice in the team, and like Floyd often thinks more rationally in certain moments, not always, but sometimes. And I think that was kind of one of the things I was saying before we went into leg 10 was like, Floyd, like I need your voice. And so yes, like Floyd did say, should we check the eggs? And I like did a half-assed job of doing it. And then we both say, yeah, like it was both of our responsibilities to just say, wait. Like, and Floyd says, yeah, he said he's gone back to that moment too. If he had just said the sentence, let's stop and check the eggs. You know, like these little funky things, but like, sorry, I don't know if I
can. 100%.
You're fine. You do you.
I think everyone can relate to that, because that's what it comes down to is like, if I had just thought about this differently or asked a different question, you know,
I think everybody has that. I mean,
everyone has that one moment. Everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, Jen, obviously
win the show. Yeah.
You were right there. Jen, like one little move could have changed everything for you, Jen. James Earl, like
it was that tut-tut driver when I was like, "Are you sure this is it?" And
yeah.
I wasn't convinced, but he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Are you sure?" I should have like my gut was telling me it wasn't right. So like we all have those moments.
Yeah, if I would have just said keep the meter running, 4 words. If I would have just said 4 words, I'd have $1 million. Keep the meter running. Oh God, no, I don't still think about it.
But yeah, I don't think I don't think the internet's being fair by saying like, oh, this is all Becca's fault. Because like Becca said, like you're there with a partner and a team. Like you can't run the race alone. Like you can't.
No.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people are saying it's just. Are they saying it's just their fault? I've seen like both. I see it usually as like a team decision. Is what people seem to think.
It's a team's fault, regardless. It's not one person's fault for anything.
No, it's not.
But here's an interesting question: could you have taken more than 12 eggs?
No, you couldn't have.
That's interesting.
I'm pretty sure we thought about that.
Yeah, Heidi mentioned it in the chat room. I'm like, that's a great question.
Now, I have a question. The second time y'all did it, did y'all like put them with hay in the basket? Because that's what it kind of looked like. Y'all nestled them away.
Yeah, we did. We used like some grass and also some of our. I think we took our clothing out of
all our clothes out of our backpack and
just straight up just like made sure. Yeah,
no egg was touching any hard surface.
That's great strategy. How long did that set you guys back?
The cracked egg probably set us back like 40 minutes or so, because it was like 20 minutes each way, I think, from that detour. So like you said, like 20 minutes both ways, 5 minutes to like do the pole vault and get the eggs, like 45 minutes or so.
So if you didn't mess up, you wouldn't have gone home.
Correct.
Probably not. The rest of the leg was pretty smooth sailing after that.
Oh, I feel for you guys. But like I said,
check your eggs.
You guys may not have won $1 million, but I think you won over Amazing Race fans. I
totally did.
I don't think there's like a true Amazing Race fan that's not going to put you in their top 5 favorite teams of all time. So, congratulations on that.
Thanks.
Hey, but I have one question for you, because I didn't know if this was like an edit moment, but like when y'all are on the boats and y'all kind of come out into the ocean and you see the island, like your face kind of drops and you're like, oh, that's not good. What were you seeing?
I don't know.
Yeah, so we intentionally, at least I intentionally, was not going to count how many boat trains were there, just in case. Also, we both had to pee so bad. Like, so I was probably like, oh, there's probably not going to be any bathrooms on this island, like, after we check in.
Yeah.
The ocean is your bathroom. The ocean.
Jump in.
I think almost like every 5 minutes or so, we were both like, "Oh no! Like we're about to pee our pants."
The entire hour boat challenge. It's terrible.
Wow. Yes. Good. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, as we were approaching, like, we had this hope in us. It was multiple things. So we had this hope that, like, again, teams could have got lost in the canals. You heard Becca say it, that a keep on racing leg isn't technically a non-elimination leg. You know what I mean? And that, especially if there were like 13 legs in the season of the race, and that would, make sense mathematically and stuff. Which
I was definitely going to ask about that, because it seemed like you didn't really believe you were gone at the moment.
We just had hope. We were filled with such hope. Like the first half of that boat challenge was like we were actually pretty like down. We were like, we have to pee. Where the frick are these boats? These canals are dumb. Like at least that's like how we felt. And then like the second half, we're like, you know what? We don't know what's happening. Like we didn't know we were the third team during this airport drama. We didn't know this. We didn't know that. Like let's keep staying positive like we always do and just see what happens. So yeah, it was a roller coaster.
All right, let's get through it so we can talk about the finale before James Earl's got to go in a second here. James, before you go, James Earl, just make sure you give us your seal clap whenever it is. Okay, cool. All right, lots of navigation errors on this leg. Is it because the race is pushing you with your mind, body, soul, or is there really difficult to get around here?
Floyd?
So both. It's really it's like struggling. When we started, as soon as we started on the bikes, we got bad directions from this dude who told us this yacht club was like in the town. So we like initially broke away from the chunk of Colin and Christy, Nicole, Victor, Tyler, and Corey because we were like, okay, we know the directions already. They don't. Let's go. That turned out to be wrong. So they got to the yacht club before us and left before us. And then once we were trying to find the detour clue, there was like farmland on one side and then the main road on one side, and we had no idea. And then we eventually found a map. And we found the right numbered farm, but like I'm sure we didn't read the map correctly because we ended up taking the most roundabout way to get to that farm instead of the more direct route up the main road. So it was just it was a navigational error. We just stuck with the direction and we chose it and stuck with it, but it wasn't a smart navigational choice.
So let's get to the mat here. There was no greeter. I heard, because this is Bertram's home country, that he was the greeter. Is that true?
That is correct. Yeah.
And they cut him out?
I have no idea.
They cut him out hard. Like they zoomed in on Phil's face with like some blurry vision to cut him out.
I'm like, he's the creator of the show. How do you cut him out though? It's his show.
And it was cool to see him there too, because I was like, I didn't know what was happening. I was like, is Bertram always there when a team gets eliminated? Because our first time we were eliminated, Phil came to us, so we didn't know. Like, we've never experienced that. But no, it was like we originally didn't like address him, and then Phil was like, "Aren't you gonna like acknowledge that Bertram's standing right here?" We're like, "Hello, creator of the amazing."
So, all right, everybody saw what happened. Team Fun gets eliminated. The hearts across the world are being broken. I don't know. Let's just go to some of the fun stuff. Did you think that your drum major skills would have so many uses in this season?
No. I mean, sometimes I think it's overly simplifying my skill set to tie everything to band. You know what I mean? Like, I also think I'm decently smart, but I mean, these specific challenges were very drum major-esque and musical. So I had no idea, but I'm happy about it.
Well, let's talk about the first episode real quick.
Awesome.
Hey, Justin, real quick before you get too deep into it, I'm gonna peace out. Sorry, I have to go to work, y'all. It was a pleasure seeing y'all. I'm gonna do my seal clap real quick. My seal clap is gonna go to Tyler and Corey, and then their tire boats like shenanigans in the canals between clutching the pearls, thirsting over the shirtless dudes, like ramming the boat into Grandma. Like their whole boat experience was just amazing.
Yes, I totally agree. The quick comebacks from the mean guy that was
All right, but it was a pleasure. I'm sorry I have to bounce a little early, y'all.
Oh,
Bye.
doctor.
Save some lives or something.
I love James Earl, man. One of my favorite people from my season. Literally the only person on our race that I was scared to go up against. Super smart and way more athletic than you just look at him. Like, beast. He is a beast. Love me some James Earl. All right, Team Fun. The good thing about this, you being eliminated, is that you can now come back for a third time. Is that the instant thought process, or is it like, you know what, we had enough?
Well,
That's the instant thought process.
It's the instant thought process. Well, which is funny because we're sitting here staring at two of the teams we'd probably race against if we did it a third time. I'm like, shoot.
That'd be so fun.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
So let's talk alliances. No.
Let's go.
Listen, I wouldn't mind this to be in the final three of an all-star season. This would be a great final three. I think it'd be three teams that really legitimately have a chance to win, three different styles of teams, but I think it'd be a great final three.
We could just make an unofficial contract right now. So all the other racer alumni are like quaking.
Oh man, listen. If they saw the three of us teaming up, like I don't care who you get, you could put together any three other teams. Nobody's beating the three of us. I mean, come on. Just if you guys could keep my anger in check and Team Extreme, and you guys could just keep that intensity going, and I would. So if you guys kept the intensity going, I wouldn't have to feel the intensity. No, I think it'd be great, and I'm really looking forward to it because it's going to happen at some point. There's going to be another All-Stars before this gets canceled, and all three of us are going to get invited back. It's not even a question.
Hopefully.
I appreciate your optimism.
Come on, you guys aren't you the best female team to ever run in a race and not win?
Based on averages, yes.
Yes,
She's like, yeah.
It is due time for another all-female team to win. That is just an issue. That is an issue. I want to win.
Becca.
They're like, we gotta get that strong woman represent.
So let's talk a little bit about the Afghanimals. There was such big hype about Rachel Riley breaking the records of I ran the most legs and then gets eliminated. The Afghanimals have now ran the most legs, and they didn't even mention it. Hating on the Afghanimals, they broke the record, or they now
Rachel just needs more screen time.
Yeah,
just what they need, more screen time. I guess that could be it. I don't know. The only thing that I could think of is that they're just saving it for when they get eliminated on this next leg and be like, listen, you guys got eliminated fourth for the third time, but at least you have the record for most legs run.
No comment. You'll see.
Okay. Anything else about this leg before we go back for some of the questions? I have a bunch of questions from online. Anybody? Jan, you got anything? Again, I didn't take notes, so I'm sure I missed a lot of stuff, especially all the Tyler and Corey fun stuff.
I think we covered it.
Yeah, I think that's the gist of everything.
Ooh, tough question in the chat room. I'm going to pose it to everybody.
Let's do it.
We all get invited back to All-Stars, but we can't bring our partner. Would you go?
Ooh. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
No question. And I would...
Go, Jen.
I was going to say I would be totally okay with Christy also making that choice if she were the one to get invited back. Like, it would hurt. But, like, you don't, how could you say no?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of me and Becca's story of how we were first cast. We both originally applied with a partner, and then they were like, hey, we just want you. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. So, yes is the short answer for me. I would hate to run with anybody else besides Diana.
Yeah.
But it's a chance, like, to literally change my whole family's destiny in life. Like, I grew up poor on welfare in the Bronx, with an alcoholic mother, being abused. Like, to be where I am now is just an accomplishment, but to be able to take that next step and, like, that would be just such an amazing change in destiny for. It's something you can't say no to. So I don't know if there's any partners who would legitly say, I can't run unless I'm running with my partner. It's $1 million. Damn. It's not like $25,000 for second place. Like, cool. That's not life-changing money. That's like I can pay off half my student loans or a little bit of my student loans, like type money.
Right.
And, like me and Diana are in debt. Like we won money. We had some trips. But we're still in debt. Like, it's not changing. So, did you have more fun the first time or the second time?
For me, it's the second time, I'd say. I just we
were more comfortable together. Like, I just remember some of our leg interviews, we were just like giggling uncontrollably. We couldn't like, hold it together. Like, okay, y'all need to like answer some questions now. And we're just goofing off, having like a great time. Yeah.
I also thought this route and the challenges were more unique than our first route. I really you
guys had some.
Yeah,
like
we did some cool stuff. Yeah. Or like in Vietnam with like the light dance suits, like whoa, that's like such a unique thing to do. Like, good job, challenge producers. That was tight. So
yeah. Let's go back to that first leg real quick. You climbed up that little slide in like 2.3 seconds, and then we're sitting there watching a grown man like crack and crumble and just drop to the ground. I know that's your forte, climbing and stuff, but how difficult was that for that task? Was it just your climbing skills that got you in it, or it was just because it just seems so easy to me to be.
Yeah, it's honestly shocking to me what happened with Art and JJ.
Like you just literally walked up. You didn't grab the rope. You just walked up.
Specifically, like what the experience was like on the sides of it, and maybe in the center, but on the sides of it, if you went up like maybe 10 feet, you kind of had to like go up. It was pretty slippery, but then there were like these little like handholds essentially, and for me, it was very, very, very easy. But I could see like people who don't have as much awareness of where their center of gravity is, like are trying to like pull their entire body weight up without like using their feet. I mean, I could like put my hand where my foot was and move up to the next one. And it really, yes, it was very easy if you ask.
Okay.
But,
no, everybody has their skill set.
I would disagree.
Everybody has their skill set. And Art and JJ did say they agreed to be on the show. So if they're not on next week, maybe we'll do an afterwards. But I do have one of the producers that's going to be coming on. So we'll talk about that after. I'll have to talk with James Earl and Jen.
It was pretty entertaining on that one, though. Yeah.
So, do you think there'll be an all-winners season? No, I don't think Amazing Race will ever have an all-winners season. I don't think that to be honest, that there's enough likable winners, to be honest. What do you guys think? Will there ever be an all-winners season?
Yeah, I don't think so. And I think part of the reason why there won't be an all-winners season is because, like, there's two... It's like what you just said, Justin, like the cast they might assemble might not be a compelling enough cast. But it's also different because, like, you'd have to, like, how do you choose... Of the past, like 30 or so winners, like you have just choose 11. Like
we've also only had like 3 female teams who've won, so you would have to have all 3 female teams.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, it would just be a weird balance.
Yeah.
Here's a great question from Mocha Latte. If you could pick any other racer to run with, who would you pick? So you can't pick your current partner. And you're getting into an all-stars, but you could pick your partner. Who are you picking?
I can't make that decision on the spot. That's so hard.
Is it?
I think the first team that like really inspired me was BJ and Tyler way back. So, I mean, my first instinct is to choose one of them. I know they're 2 different people, so I don't know which one's which, but... But they were the first team to prove like you can have a really good time, have tons of setbacks because they got in last place once and like got stripped of all their things, and they still won. So and they seem to have the best time.
I think I'd race with either Flight Time or Big Easy.
Oh yeah,
Becca agrees. Yeah, no, they're my like favorite team, and I also think they're very capable. Yeah, they had their mistakes, but I also think I could bring a unique skill set that could balance out some of their things they lacked on, like that one, the challenge that you did, Jen, with the phones, the Kafka thing, so I think it was Big Easy who struggled with that. Like, I know I could kill that, right? So, like, I think I could, it can still be a well-rounded team. And it'd also be pretty entertaining. These 2 black dudes just having a good time.
It would be so awesome.
Jen, you ready or no?
I'm so not ready. I don't even actually know that I'll answer this question.
All right. Well, off the top of my head, the couple people that just come up, Zach from Zach and Flo. I mean, if he can carry Flo to victory, how can we not win? I mean, I'm better than Flo. I know that. Like, so Eric from Eric and Jeremy, one of the best to ever run the race. You can't deny that. The stats alone are just like impeccable. Jen, like, you'd definitely be on my list. I would love to run with you.
Thanks.
I mean, you're intense, and you have a lot of the skill set that I lack, which is what made Diana such a great partner. But I think you have a lot of the same things that. And you can match my intensity, which is something she couldn't do. But I think you'd be able to give it back more than she would because she's not used to it. I think those are 3 of the people that I, off the top of my head, I would definitely.
I think I could win.
Yeah, I can run with Matt Ladley.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about that.
Yeah.
Or Redmond for that matter.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah. Redmond's an awesome dude. I mean, he's an inspiration. If you ever get a chance to just sit down and talk with that dude, just sit down and talk with him. He's an an incredible individual. Lucky enough, he stopped by our house. We had dinner, hung out, and they didn't even tell any part of his real story on the show. He's got such an interesting background story.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah,
He does speaking across the country, and if you ever get a chance to see him speak, just go, man. Great individual. Okay. Before we go, anybody else have any questions, any concerns, anything that you guys want to bring up? Because I have an apology to make before I do. After you do.
Just letting people. Speaking of speaking, Becca and I are actually starting to do some speaking engagements around the Colorado area and maybe even beyond. So if anyone wants to hit us up for that, we did our first speech actually like two or 3 weekends ago to this like youth leadership summit, and it was awesome. Cool. So that's something we're actually really passionate about because it gives us a chance to like dive deeper. Because people see us like such a surface, right? Like Beck and Floyd, happy-go-lucky, team fun, but like there's so much more to us on a deeper level than just that, and we get to kind of like share that and how we use this experience to move forward. So funstoppables.com if you want to inquire about speaking engagements. Absolutely. Plug, but that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Listen, I bring you guys in. It's okay. You guys came on. Plug your stuff. That's how stuff works. I'm all about it. But before you guys do that, I do want to apologize to both of you. We did an all-star prediction episode, and I had heard some rumors from somebody that was on your season about some things that were going on, but I never talked about it because I respect you guys enough to not say what I
just shadily talk about it on your podcast like it's some weird secret.
It was a weird secret. So I am apologizing for that because I don't know if I did enough to hide, but I didn't say but whatever. I apologize because I was wrong. I took another racer's word for it. He's a jerk. I mean, he's a cool dude. But they shouldn't have said that unless it was confirmed.
Don't believe everything the internet or the people on the internet tell you.
No, I don't believe the internet. But I mean, this guy's a trustworthy guy. I mean, he's a trustworthy dude.
I don't even know how rumors like that get started. Now everyone's gonna be like, "What is a rumor? Come on!"
No. It's done. They came back. It was a lie.
We appreciate the apology.
And I apologize for thinking that the Team Fun gimmick was a gimmick, a fake. Like everybody who's met you guys that I've talked to has seen that you guys are exactly how you seem on the race, and it was just so hard for me to believe that you guys were just
standing up for us on that one.
You're welcome.
Yes, you guys are so freaking happy.
We're human too, though. We're human also. We're not perfect.
Yeah, we finally got to see the human side of you guys.
Yeah.
But I love that. So where can people check out your podcast?
We don't have a podcast. But
what do you guys do? Video? What do you call it?
Recaps. Yeah.
Video recaps
on YouTube. We have Team Fun on YouTube, and then most everything else you can find through funstoppables.com. We also just got these socks in. That's the bottom of it. Life socks. Yeah, the Unstoppable. They're pretty cool.
Oh Are they knee high? How tall are they?
They're shin high. And there's hidden words inside too. The Live Life, Live Fun is on the inside. If you were to give kids or Hearts of Reality last year, the same company made socks for that as well.
Cool.
Awesome. All right. There's a couple more questions and we'll go on. Is that the knitted Funstoppable from London behind you?
London, yeah. Represent. This one.
Holy.
This one.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's huge.
No way. Oh, thanks, London.
Yeah, London's the boss. Yeah, London's amazing. It's
that's awesome.
That is so cool. That is so cool. All right. One question. I guess we can. Can we talk about the extreme roadblock yet?
What is that?
Yeah,
no?
I think we can. I think we can.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. That's why I saved it for the end. I didn't want to bring it up.
I don't know.
I don't know.
If you want to, you can talk about it offline. But like,
okay, that's fine.
No, I'm not getting sued.
Listen,
I feel like at this point you could.
I don't know, but
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, so we'll talk about it on the next episode, maybe.
I had no influence on anything that happened in the game.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Jen, what's the extreme move of the game? Extreme move of the episode? Who's getting it?
Oh, gosh. I'm going to give it to Colin for jumping like a maniac to pull that cow up super fast.
Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, he showed some skills. I guess that was kind of extreme. No.
Maybe unnecessary, but extreme.
Yes. Super fan move is, I hate to do it, but I'm going to give it to the Afghanimals for using their influence to get the outcome that they wanted. It's a terrible outcome, but I'm going to give it to them because they're continuously trying to influence other teams to do what they want and not have people look at them as a threat. And
they're magic at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, they've been sucking the last like 5 or 6 episodes, but I don't know. But yes. All right. Predictions. Jen, who's winning next week? Or who's going home fourth and who's winning?
I think Nick and Vic are going to go. I mean, if I could choose from the 4 that were left, I would prefer, no offense, but the Afghanimals to not go because I think they're the least performing team of the final 4. But yeah, from the foreshadowing that we were seeing in the preview and like the ganging up on, and I don't know, I feel like they want an Amazing Race final 3. So I think Nick and Vic, I think they're going to go.
Ooh, yeah, I see it. I see this ending perfectly with the Afghanimals getting eliminated again in 4th. And then Tyler and Corey winning it all, just like I predicted in the first episode. But yeah, I'm looking at Tyler and Corey as the winner. None of us on here are spoiled. Funstoppables, who do you think's getting eliminated? No.
We can't answer this question.
Oh, that's so funny. Diana did not tell me who she was going to put in check, but I'm going to assume it's going to be Becca for not checking the eggs. I'm sorry, Becca.
Becca and Floyd.
But
I'm
sorry, but she didn't tell me, but I'm going to kind of put that because I think that's the reason you guys went home, and it's something that you could have stopped. But I just want to thank you for hanging out with us. I really appreciate it. And all the people watching. I know time is the most precious thing that any of us have, and I really appreciate you guys coming on the show. I appreciate all of you who watch the show. More than half the people who watch the show are not subscribed, and you watch it every week, so I don't understand why you don't subscribe.
Subscribe.
A little thumbs up, a like.
What are you waiting for?
I know. There's 4 people here every week who come in and give me thumbs down, but they're here every week. And I think one of them is Michael Harmstone. Because, but we'll see. No, I appreciate each and every one of you, and if you ever need anything, Races Recap's always here for you. Congratulations on all your success, and I look forward to racing with you in All Stars.
Thanks. You do too.
Yeah, this is really fun.
Jen, anything you want to say before we head out?
Nope. Just so happy to see you guys and
You too.
experience your smiles because they're really quite powerful.
Yes. I need some fun. And I need some of that Funstoppable love. Yeah, Diana won't be here. Diana's not here. She's at a graduation party for her cousin, so I can't show you the baby either. But anyway, thank each and every one of you for watching. We appreciate you. Next week is going to recap the double episode. We're going to have at least 3 guests that are incredible, and then we'll also tell you about the 2 episodes after the season's over. One of them with the executive producer of the show, which is only 3 of them, so you can try to figure out who it is. And one of them might be one of the creators of the show. We'll see. We'll talk about it. He gave me a maybe. He gave me a maybe in a text. So we'll see. I'm hoping. Push him. Come on, Bertram. All right. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Love you too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.